recipients, which may face reduced coverage, and hospitals, which may have to provide more uncompensated care. So, Nick, you're a numbers guy. You look at all this stuff closely. Is there a chance that what we're seeing on the page right now actually becomes the budget of the United States, or is this just a starting point for a negotiation?
Zero chance, Willie. It's a starting point for negotiation. It's kind of a leverage point. But it's also a moral document for President Trump. I think it shows what his gamble is, which is that if you unleash industry, unleash coal, get rid of the EPA or kind of ratchet it back, build the Pentagon back up, you'll see jobs in these communities without the economic development grants and the need for some of the local programs. What's interesting, though, is to hear them talk about the need to cut federal spending. This budget does not really cut federal spending, it doesn't touch the biggest drivers of federal spending and the deficit, right, which are entitlements. So it takes these smaller programs for the poor, cuts them out, hands that money over to the Pentagon, which is the most wasteful department probably in the government, but leaves alone the big drivers of federal spending, which is a strange thing for an administration that's talking so much about cutting federal spending.
Nick, that's such an important point, because with all the talk and all the front page stories, obviously this stuff is important and affects people's lives, but in the big picture, we're tinkering around the edges here. Most of that spending comes from mandatory spending, right. And Donald Trump has said he doesn't want to touch Medicare. He doesn't want to touch Social Security. I think Mick Mulvaney probably has other ideas. I think they're trying to convey to the president why it's important to look at those programs, but Trump has said out loud, I'm not touching these things.
Well, yeah, and he promised on the campaign trail he would not, so it's important there to keep his promise. The House budget obviously takes a different tack on some of those things. But look, to some extent, this kind of reminds me of the campaign that he ran, which is I'm going to leave I'll protect the entitlements for the middle class, I'll boost Pentagon spending, and I'll cut the rest of it, and I'll get rid of the regulation.
Still ahead on Morning Joe, Trump won a